Good morning. We will pay attention to the general ledger today. The cash receipts journal is given. There's no entries in the sundry accounts column. It's only the columns that was created when we started with the cash receipts journal. The bank received money, so the bank account will be debited. Sales is an income, so sales will be credited. Capital is equity, and equity will be credited. If I add the 70 and the 50 together, it equals the 120,000 on the debit side. The cost of sales column is not included in any other column. Therefore, those amounts must be posted, and you have to do a double entry for the cost of sales. So cost of sales will be debited and inventory will be credited to reduce the inventory. Because all the posting here must be done at the end of the month, we will transfer the totals to the ledger on the last day of the month. On the 1st of May, there was 50,000 Rand capital contribution. Any entries in the sundry accounts column will be posted on the day that the transaction took place. So that this entry must be posted on the 1st. The account that will be debited is the bank. This is posted from the cash receipts journal. And the capital increased with 50,000 Rand. The bank account will be debited with 120,000. Because money was received, the money in the bank increased with 120,000. Asset increases on the debit side. This 120,000 will be posted to several accounts on the credit side. Therefore, you will either write sundry accounts to indicate that this amount is split between different accounts on the credit side, or you can write total receipts. And you have to show that the total is posted on the last day of the month, and it comes from the cash receipts journal. The total of the sales is 70,000, so the income must increase on the credit side with 70,000. This is a total, so it will be posted on the last day of the month, the 31st. The account debited is bank, posted from the cash receipts journal, 70,000. The cost of sales account and the inventory account will be recorded with 41,176. We sold inventory, so the inventory decreased because we have less inventory with 41,176. The account that we will debit is cost of sales. So you can't write bank there because this amount was not included in your bank column. And this is posted from the cash receipts journal. In the cost of sales account, we will debit the expense to increase the expense, to show that expenses increase on the debit side. The account that was credited was inventory. So here again, you can't write cost of sales. After I posted all these entries to the ledger, I will fill in the folio numbers. So my capital account was B1. If it's amount in the sundry accounts column, you will show the folio number between the amount and the details. If it's a total that was posted, you will show the nominal accounts and balance sheet account numbers at the bottom of the columns. In the cash payments journal, the bank will be credited because money was taken out of the bank, and all the other accounts will be debited. So there's a lot of entries in the sundry accounts column, and we will take all those entries to the debit side of the ledger on the date that the transaction took place. So I will show that rent was done on the 4th, equipment, the entry must be completed on the 6th. We will indicate that rent expense will increase on the debit side with 3,500. The bank account was credited on the 4th, posted from the cash payments journal. Equipment will be debited with 8,900 to increase the asset on the debit side. On the 6th of May, the bank account is credited. All the other entries in the sundry accounts column will be posted to the debit side of the ledger accounts on the dates that these transactions occurred. Advertising will increase on the 14th with 800 rand, indicating that bank is credited. Stationery will increase with 410 rand. Bank was credited. Electricity will increase with 400 rand. Bank was credited. On the last day, the owner took goods for its own use, so the drawings account will be debited with that 1,000. Drawings always increase on the debit side. The bank account will be credited with 74,810 because the money was taken out of the bank. The inventory account will increase on the debit side with 59,000 because the assets increase with the total amount purchased, and we will show the folio numbers below the totals in your journal. The wages account must be debited with 800 rand. So the expense increases on the debit side, and because this was done on the last day of the month, all totals are posted on the last day, indicating that the bank account is credited. All these accounts only have amounts on one side of the account, so they will automatically be the balances in those accounts. The inventory account must be balanced because there's amounts on both sides of the account. So I will add up the debit side, gives me 59,000 rand. So on the same line, I must have 59,000 total on the credit side. The totals must always be the same, and you are never allowed to write any words next to the total. Then I will subtract the credit side to determine what is the difference between the debit side and the credit side, so that we can determine the balance, and that gives me a balance of 18,824. And I will bring down that balance on the debit side, 18,824. So it means that we will start the next month with a balance in the inventory of 18,824. The bank total is 120,000 rand. So the total on the credit side must also be 120,000. So I subtract the amount on the credit side to determine what is the difference between the two, and that will give me 45,190 rand. And then I will bring down that balance on the opposite side below the total, 45,190.